What is going on, guys? It's me again, Manny at Manny Mods Garage, and as you can see here, we have our new to us Ram 2500 Cummins. It's a Laramie. It's got some good stuff going with it. I know a lot of you guys already know this is old news, but for us, this is our new baby. I ain't gonna lie, guys, I love this truck. If it was a little newer, it'll be a lot better because it'll replace the TRX. We miss the TRX dearly. I know my wife hates me, but hey, you know what? We're gonna work on something later on. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a nice third row, 800 horsepower car. We'll find out later. But the point of this video is to talk about our new Cummins. We're gonna talk about some of the stuff we did and the price we paid and the condition it was in when we got it. So, like I said before, it's a Laramie, so it has leather seats, cooled seats, heated steering. It's got Bluetooth, it's got all the good stuff, so all the bells and whistles for the most part. It's kind of weird the way Ram specs out these trucks, because some of these Rams come with push start, and this one comes with an old school key. Now it does have auto start as well, but the only problem is that the auto start's not programmed for the truck still. I don't understand the story behind it. We paid $23,000 for this truck because it has 263,000 miles. However, supposedly that's pretty low. That's about half the life of this truck. But it's got plenty of space. As like I said before, it's got leather. It came with the WeatherTech right out the dealership, so it was not bad. I would say it was maintained pretty well. It wasn't too bad. Not too many big dents. The bed has a few little scratches on it, but I've been sanding it down and polishing this as much as possible, getting everything taken care of. Been sanding it down with like a 2000 and a 3000 grit sandpaper, and then compound, polish, buff, all that good stuff. The overall condition of the truck's pretty good. It's in fact a hybrid. No, I'm just kidding, guys. But I like to get a joke or two out of that. Every time I'm in the highway or something, people see that and they just start cracking up. The transmission was actually not that bad. It was just, I felt a little jerkiness. It didn't feel as responsive as it should. But so what I did was I reached out to RevMax and I took a peek at it. I did some research and stuff like that, and then I'm finding out that RevMax makes a valve body, a very strong valve body, it's a valve body and a solenoid pack. So it's like a whole kit and caboodle. It was like $2,200 for all this stuff. And basically it came with a deeper 6-inch transmission pan with an actual drain plugs from the factory. It doesn't come with one. And it came with the stronger valve body. It came with a new solenoid pack and a $350 core, so it was like $2,100 honestly. But in the reality, man, this thing's been shifting perfect, phenomenal. Fresh fluid. The fluid is still cold. It's still fresh. It's still red. We pushed, I think, about 5,000 miles on this truck so far. So I ain't gonna say I broke it in yet. It's pretty good now, but we still got plenty of life for this transmission. It literally gave it a new life. We also added on the transmission it's called a cooler transmission temp bypass. Yeah, so basically from the factory you have this little bypass block and it restricts tons of fluid from going to the transcooler. Now basically that just opens it up and it keeps my temperatures on the transmission around 170 at most. I don't even think it passes 150. But in the when it was hot and we just installed it, it didn't really pass that. It stayed really cold, and before the transmission would hit like 200 to 220, and I thought that was outrageous, but apparently Ram and Cummins said that's fine for the 68 RFE. So the transmission has been upgraded. Another issue when we bought the truck is right after we left the dealership over there in Jacksonville, the differential was fried. It's an open diff. Why would you sell such a big truck with an open diff? I don't understand. So yes, the Ram does have its issues. It just from the factory, I don't understand why Ram would sell something with an open diff. It's a huge differential, but it was howling and screaming. I flushed the fluid in the back. I even changed the front wheel bearings just in case, because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like from the front, but it was resonating all the way from the back, all the way from the front. The differential was like, I'll show you video in a second. I have it you'll see the video in a few seconds. but it was janky. It was real bad. And so what I did was I just upgraded to the LSD. So huge shout out to my buddies over there at JK&T here in Hinesville, Georgia, because without them, man, I'd be stuck in the wind. So what they did was that I put brand new bearings with races on the new LSD differential. And what I did after that was take the old ring, with the ring and pinion was actually in good shape after all that metal shaving from the old cup. I was very impressed by that, and we replaced that. So the differential's been changed, never had a problem ever since that. Transmission, differential. Other big upgrade that I did to the truck, I took it to Canada, right? And we deleted it. We did the whole process. EGR cooler's been removed. We got rid of the EGR tube that comes over here, and around this side you had the intake. You also had the EGR valve sitting right on top, and I deleted that as well. So we got rid of all that stuff, and I put in a Spelab intake elbow. So that's what these called, intake elbow. What's nice about the delete kit, guys, is that when you delete it, it gets rid of all the stuff. It gets rid of all the bells and whistles, all the crap. So all these extra sensors, all these extra EPA crap that literally destroys your engine, it gets rid of all that stuff. So if you guys are not familiar and you're following my channel, EGRs, basically it's an exhaust gas recirculation device. And what it does is it literally, it's like taking, I don't know, a tube, sticking it up your butt, and then you have to breathe that every time you fart. It's disgusting. That's literally what diesel trucks do when they put an EGR valve. It just opens a valve, the exhaust coming out turbo just gets ingested back into the intake, and it recycles it twice. And then with the engine, when you have that, you also have to add a DPF, a diesel particulate filter, and it's this huge gigantic filter that the EPA, or I don't even know who to call, it's just the environmental people who like to destroy trucks, they add those. And that basically filters out your exhaust so that you don't smell no exhaust fumes from a diesel, because it's destroying the planet. Okay, even though they make Tesla factories that are like 10 times worse. But the point is, that also comes with the delete kit. So it gets rid of the exhaust, all that extra exhaust crap. It gets rid of the EGR valve. It gets rid of the EGR cooler and all these little bells and whistles. But it also deletes and gets rid of all these extra sensors that are unnecessary and do harm to the truck. So you don't have to have this pesky little check engine lights, and your auto start can actually work. So I deleted it. Guys, when I'm telling you, it opened it up. It's tons of power on the truck now. Tons and tons of power. Very, very nice flow. I'll show you guys a video in a few seconds of how bad our old intake elbow was and our grid heater. It's insane how much power this truck could potentially have if you just get rid of that stupid grid heater. The grid heater, it has like a little opening like this big, and it was restricted with so much soot and carbon. It was ridiculous. So after we put the Spelab intake elbow, which I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be a bad brand, a bad system, but it was just, look at the draw, I ain't gonna lie. That company took care of me, and I'll show you guys in a second why. But the Spelab intake elbow, and also the Spelab grid delete plate, opened up the truck. It breathes so much better, responds so much better. It's just tons of power, and I'm not gonna say I added a very aggressive tune, but with my tuning, with my whole delete kit, also comes with a tuner by EasyLink, and that worked pretty well. So engine was done, transmission was done, and the differential's done in the back. I serviced all the fluids. The truck's been amazing. Aesthetically, we haven't done much to it. It's got its issues. So it looks like somebody threw some acid or bird poop that's been sitting there for years, and it just ate into the clear coat, and it ate through the paint. Now, I buffed the paint as much as I could, and it looks a lot better. And of course, I got some cracks in the windshield. I mean, like, again, it's a 267,000 mile truck. And I'm just trying to make sure it's good. For the price I paid, I'm not complaining. I've already towed with this thing. I put so many thousands of miles, I think 5,000 miles in it. We went to Tennessee. We drove 12 plus hours with this thing nonstop, towing a car. But by the way, this thing tows amazing. Doesn't even miss a beat. It just tows like nothing's behind it, especially because I have a 1,500 pound race trailer in the HELLCAT. But with the family, the trailer, the car, and the heavy truck itself, this thing has not missed a beat whatsoever. The bumper's got a few dents here and there. The headlight, look, it's moisture build up in there, which we have a set that we should be getting soon, hopefully. If not, whatever. Aesthetically, what we also did was I upgraded the tires. So these are the factory wheels, the 18-inch wheels, and I put some 37s on them. Some used 37s, some grapplers. Works great, feels good. A lot of people didn't believe that it was not gonna, they believed it wasn't gonna work, but I put a 3-inch leveling kit, or leveling kit on it, and I raised the front up about 3 inches to match the rear. But with this, it also helped me because now I can turn all the way. So 37s look a lot better. I did put some 2-inch spacers, but believe it or not, guys, it feels like stock. You would never notice the difference. This thing drives amazing, even with towing and all. Never had an issue with it. Just put some 2-inch spacers on it from Amazon, a leveling kit from Amazon, and good to go. Now, it's a Florida truck, no rust, no issues, no problems. Bed works good. Some exhaust stuff. It's just a truck. It's a nice truck. I'm just very grateful that I actually found one that's a Laramie, because what I really wanted is to make sure I got the bells and whistles for the price that I paid. I could have found a 200,000 mile tradesman, but it's a tradesman. And no offense, guys, if you're right there, you just spend the extra $3,000-4,000 and just get yourself the Laramie. They're out there, I promise you. Maybe down the road we're gonna sell this truck to upgrade our vehicle, get something a little better for mom, hook it up, and she deserves it. Then my dream later down the road is to get another 4th gen Cummins just like this one, and upgrade it to the manual. The manual, yes, they make a 6-speed manual version. I don't know, I think it's a G something 56. I don't remember the name of the transmission, but it doesn't matter to you guys. Anyways, we want to get the manual version of this pickup truck, and I think I want to get it in a 3500 non-dually, so I can fit it in my garage. I like my garage. I like my stuff in the garage. So that's going to be awesome. Upgrades. I have some upgrades coming for you guys. Speaking of upgrades, Spelab. Shout out to Spelab. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It could be Spelab. I have no idea. But they make various parts for different vehicles. If I'm not mistaken, they make valve covers for the Hemis. They make a lot of parts for the Duramaxes, Cummins, Power Strokes, a lot of trucks, a lot of options. You got to check out their website. It's at spelab.com. I might be saying this wrong, but my wife's going to put the link right now. On that link, you're going to find all types of stuff. They have a lot of incentives. The more you buy, the more specials and promotions you can achieve. If I'm not mistaken, you get promo points, and it goes towards your next purchase. And it's amazing because a lot of these diesel companies don't offer any of this crap. The quality of this stuff, in my opinion, is really good for what you get. You're not getting the cheapest of the cheap. You're actually getting affordability, and you're getting a good, decent quality. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they're the only ones that offer what I'm about to put on this truck. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so here it is, the next modification for the truck. I've been waiting for this for like about, I don't know, a month or so. We've been back and forth on what we want to do. So Spelab hooked it up. They sent me some merge, a few decals. They sent me the actual valve cover. I've been wanting this valve cover for quite some time. I saw it online. I saw it on their website. And I saw it on some Instagram accounts. Some people install this. Now, I'm going to go into an in-depth video of how to install this valve cover and the quality. So I've never opened this box before. So we're about to crack it open right now. Let's check it out. Let's see what we got here. Bunch of foam. It's a lot of packaging. And that thing is actually heavy. This is nice. It's powder coated silver, but it is aluminum, y'all. Very strong aluminum. I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait to see how this is going to perform. And it's got 2 gigantic crankcase breathers. So this is basically the back of the engine where I'm standing at. And you can adjust these from what I can tell. It's got some more hardware. Comes with some hardware, a couple hoses, so that you can add some stuff to it. Basically, if you want to add like an oil catch can, You can probably, from what I can tell, cap this off, and you could just have one for vent, like some of us, Cummins guys do after we delete the truck. But I mean, overall, y'all, I'm really excited. This does not look bad at all. I really like the finish, and I can't wait to install this on the truck because it's gonna clean up and clear a lot of space. I'm gonna pop the hood in a second. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. But before I do that, I have another part that they just sent me in addition to this. So, man, they have been hooking me up. I can't wait. Let me go check out this next box. All right. This is an oil catch can. And I'm excited to add this because I don't want to have my stuff vent to atmosphere. I don't want the stuff just dripping everywhere because from my experience with all these cars that I've had, I've always installed oil catch cans on my Escalade, on all the Mopars that we had, because what you do is when the intake is actually sucking all the oil vapors, it's helping the engine getting sludge. Because if you just let the oil vapors just sit in the crankcase, it's just going to be gunk. It's going to be sludge. It's going to have a lot of condensation. So it's going to be like a milky, gunky substance inside of the valve cover in the crankcase. So you don't want that. So with that being said, I like to add the oil catch can because it's going to filter all that vapor and oil into the catch can instead of it just being dumped into the air or just dropping on the floor. I remember we used to have our F350 and they used to just dump it on the floor and you just have like little oil marks everywhere. So here we have a nice, decent oil catch can. It's a generic one, but they offer it on the website. It's not bad. It does the job. And I'm not gonna lie, I've seen these before. They do a great job filtering all the oil. I have one in the Escalade, and actually, we're gonna pop open the hood so I can show you what I'm talking about, because I'm pretty sure it's horrible.
It's the same one.
Yeah. And it feels pretty heavy. Oh yeah. Look, y'all, I'm gonna show you this. Let me get in the light. Here's what I'm talking about. This is why we use oil catch cans. All this is oil vapor. That's all oil vapor collected. And that's about what, half a cup right here. That is a lot of oil, y'all. You don't want that stuff being dumped in the atmosphere because as contradicting as it sounds, even though I deleted it and I'm just dumping all this carbon monoxide all over the world, I don't want this just dripping all over my driveway, and that's what's gonna happen. And I also don't want it just being collected inside of my crankcase like I mentioned earlier. So we're gonna install the oil catch can on the next video. We're gonna put on this really badass valve cover, and I'm gonna show you guys a comparison to what we have in the Cummins right now and what this looks like. So check this out, y'all. This is the new valve cover that we're installing right here, and then that's the old one. Now, if I don't know if you can see it, but see on top of the valve cover, there's called an oil crankcase breather, or a CCV, which is a crankcase breather something. There's a gigantic filter in there that you're supposed to replace. I don't know, give it a take 30,000 miles. I've already replaced it when I bought the truck, but that filter itself is like 300 bucks, and I'm deleting it. I'm getting rid of that because I'm going to add the oil catch can. That valve cover with the crankcase breather is probably stacked up about 4 inches, give or take. It looks like 4 to 5 inches, to be honest with you, versus this super thin aftermarket aluminum valve cover. It's gonna look so good, guys. I can't wait to install this thing. Well, guys, shout out to Spelab one more time. Thank you so much for watching my video. It was just an introduction of our truck and the future mods that we have. Eventually, we're gonna put some wheels and we're gonna do a bunch of other cool stuff. But on the next video, we're gonna do the installation of the valve cover so that you guys can see how it's gonna look and how the fitment is. So, huge shout out one more time to my wife, my kids, and till next time, Manny Mod's Garage, out.